Pick up, everybody. It's your girl, Sophie Soph, back here on Sofia's Football Talk for a special preview ahead of the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup. Tottenham versus Man United with the lovely Ash, of course, from All About the WSL. She's been here on the channel before. I've been on her channel as well. So, Ash, how are you doing? Are you good?
I'm really great. It's the holiday season. The weather in India is lovely, and there's lots of football to look forward to. So I'm excited.
100%. Yes, it is indeed the holiday season. And lots of good games as you mentioned to talk about. And I mean, obviously, the one we're focusing on for today is your team, Spurs, versus my team, Man United. But before we do, I do kind of want to hear more so your thoughts about so far have how Spurs have done since we last played each other, which is when was it? Like 2 months ago or something. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Spurs, as usual, it's been a mixed bag. We've had some really like big victories. We beat
Mhm.
City 4-0, and the last game we beat Southampton 5-0. So that's been like really, really great. But on the other hand, as usual with a Spurs fan, we've had like all of these ups and downs. We lost to Galatasaray, we drew with Rangers, and then Ipswich, Palace. You can name the teams, like all the smaller teams that we've lost to. It's just been a roller coaster. So I'm honestly, I think United fans understand this the best. I'm angry with
Mm.
my management and I'm angry with my board. And I
Yeah.
just wish that as a club, I don't, everybody bears some responsibility, the players, the manager, the club. I just need things to change. I can't stand this inconsistency.
I hear you. Yeah, that's the thing with Spurs. I mean, it's Ange's second season. It's been a lot of inconsistencies, 100%, because you go from being on at a all-time high, like that game against Man City, incredible. The way you just went at them, at their ground. You didn't give a toss about the fact that it was Man City. Yes, they were struggling, but I think a lot of people still expected Man City to do something, right?
Yeah.
But the way Spurs was just, they just, you crushed them basically. You ruined them. 4-0 at the Etihad. Insane. And then afterwards, like you mentioned, then here comes another inconsistency with dropping points left and right to teams that you, let's be honest, should be winning against, right? So, I mean, if it was my team, which, I mean, hey, my team has been kind of doing even worse than you guys, but I can relate, is what I'm trying to say. Essentially, I can 100% relate to the inconsistencies for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like a lot of people have been, like out for baying for blood, especially Andrew's blood. But like honestly, I feel like that will not change much. I don't know which Spurs is going to turn up tomorrow.
Mhm.
So I don't think any Spurs fan does.
So true. It's like we don't know which Spurs will turn up. Will it be the Spurs against the Man City, even against, of course, how you won against us 3-0 at our ground, or will it be a different Spurs, one that's kind of been dropping points to Galatasaray and with Rangers and you name it. I hear it. It'll be interesting. Before we go further, people, I forgot to mention. Make sure you do subscribe to both channels. Ash's channel is linked in the title of this stream and also, of course, in the description. So make sure you do show some love because showcasing a lot of support to the women's football, um, which is growing at a fast pace and it deserves a lot more recognition. So make sure you do subscribe to her channel and show her some love and like this video as well because it pushes it even more. But yeah, Why do you think it's been so inconsistent under Ange's second season? Like, what could he, in your opinion, have done differently so far this season?
Um, like I think for starters, I think we could have done better in the transfer market because
Mhm.
as a Spurs fan, we see this year in and year out, which is come December, there are more games. We have to play midweek. Suddenly, we have like 5 or 6 injuries, and like our whole season just like this disintegrates, right? And this was the
Yeah.
case last year. This was the case this year. So I need to see a better transfer season where the drop off is not so great when we lose our main players. And so that's one thing. The second is and I think
Hmm.
he has improved on this somewhat, is I need to see more in game substitutions. Like I need to see him change it up if it's not working, like against people like against Ipswich, for example. Like it is the definition of insanity to do the same thing again and again and expect a different result,
Yes.
so
Agree.
I'd like to see him do that more in game management. And a lot of Spurs fans were crying for him to play Jed Spence, for example. And Pedro
Yep.
Porro's not had the best season.
Hmm.
Like I would have put him in much earlier and seen what happens. So stuff like that.
Agreed. Yeah, especially with the Jet Spence thing. I mean, obviously, Antonio Conte was very clear with the fact that he didn't want him at the beginning. Like, I get that. And then he said, okay, loan spells, yada, yada, yada. Signed a new, did he not sign a new contract as well this season, I think, or before the season, Jet Spence? Could be wrong.
Before the season, but it was just like a small extension. It's not like I
Oh,
don't think it's 7 year. Like it's not
no,
like
no,
a
no, no,
huge.
no, yeah. Okay. But, you know, okay, but either way, even if it's just a small extension, it's just, you don't really play that much, you know? And I do think, from what I've seen, the little, it's not a big sample size, but I do think there is a player there. Like you said, it's not like Pedro Porro has been rocking up the place. If he was, you know, doing wonderfully, okay, get it, that's warranted. But when he himself hasn't been performing, then it's not really justified not playing, or at least giving the opportunity to a Jet Spence, I think, because I do think he has potential, but he needs to be given the chance.
Yeah. And a defender has to defend. Like I appreciate Paulo
Yes.
States going forward, but like that's not your primary job. Your primary job is to
Mm,
track back and make sure that the other team doesn't score. And I think that's where Pedro
exactly.
Porro fails.
Yes. Also, a question here from Ravi. This is also what I wanted to ask. So he asked here, thoughts on your front three? Are they good enough to win you games?
So, I personally, there have been a lot of people who've been critical of Dominic Solanke for not
Mm-hmm.
scoring. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we beat Southampton 5-0, and none of those goals were Dominic Solanke. But, I think that the press starts from him. So, personally, I'm a really big fan of him. I think that all the work that he does off the ball and for the team, defending as well, I think it's really, really important. I would like to see more goals from him. So,
Mm.
I'm still not 100% sold, but like if he just increased the number of goals, I would totally be there for batting for him. Sunny has does have a few issues now. Like his
Mm.
conversion rate on goals is not as great, so he's missing some like really like simple chances. But I
Yeah.
will say this about Sunny: he recently crossed Darren Anderton as the number one assister for Spurs in our club history. And
Wow.
the thing is, we have to look at him in this new role. Whenever he plays, he's always providing. Like there have been so many chances that other people have scuffed up where he's provided the assist like on a
Yeah.
platter. And so I think that in that new role he really excels. So I would keep
Mm-hmm.
like all these players, they have something missing in their game, but
Mm-hmm.
still like they still provide a lot for the team, and I don't think they're the biggest
Yeah.
problem right now. Um, I don't even know Johnson, Kulu. I don't know who will play on the right. Like Kulusevski, I think is phenomenal. I think there is no other word for him. He is a great player. No, I think you could play him anywhere on the pitch and he will do well.
Oh.
But
Oh. Yes.
But
I'm sorry. I
Johnston,
just
I
love
think,
Kulusevski. I'm sorry. I'm not to interrupt you, but
yeah,
w- he just he's so good, Kulusevski.
yeah, I love him.
I
Yeah.
love that guy.
He's
But
also,
yeah,
I think he reminds me of Ahmad in that sense, which is that this is the boy who will cover every blade of grass. Like, even when he's not
mm,
playing well or he's not scoring goals, he is just running, he is keeping the ball, he is a team player, and
mm-hmm.
the mentality in such somebody, he's still young, he's 24. The mentality in a player like that, at
Yes,
that age, is phenomenal.
agreed. Yes, he's so adaptable as well. Very versatile. Like the guy is good, and he's too good. And also with Maddison, I think he's kind of was it earlier this season or few games in with of course being injured, then when he came back and stuff he hasn't kind of been fully on it, but then recently now he's restarted to cook. But this is what I'm seeing. What
I
do you make
think
of that?
it depends on how much the opposition presses Madison.
Mm,
When you give him the space to play his game, like Southampton did, like Brentford did, he does an amazing job. But like when you're playing in a really physical environment, and like if there's someone like say Casemiro, like really like uh,
yes.
bearing down on him, then I think
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't do as well. So I think it's like you have to pick and choose which games you play him in.
Yeah,
But we do
no,
look better
agreed. Yeah,
in our midfield, honestly.
I hear it. I think medicine is quality. I do think so. And of course, it makes sense, when you've been injured that you're not instantly going to cook. Sometimes it takes you need to have a little bit more of a run of games, get a bit comfortable. And there were moments where he wasn't being that much played, or he was being played, but often got stopped up earlier. So it looked like there was some stuff going on off the pitch. I don't know, with
Yeah. No, to
rumors,
be fair, he came back from a very long injury, and it takes a while to sort of like get back into the groove and
Yes,
get things going. And
yeah.
unfortunately, in our midfield, we've seen that with two players, with Bentancur, Maddison, both. So it's happening simultaneously, and that's also problematic.
Exactly. Um, no, I agree. Let's maybe move on a little bit more so to Man United. So, what I mean, obviously, the big one, the big change since the last time we played each other is the fact that we now have a new guy in charge, Ruben Amorim. What are your thoughts about him becoming, the new appointment, replacing Ten.
I think I really like the appointment. I think that he seems to know what he wants to do. I like the fact. I think if in any other club you have to have media training, in United you have to have media training to the max. Because they're
Yes.
always in the news. And I think I like
Mm-hmm.
the way he conducts himself in the
Me
press.
too.
I like the things that he's saying. I like the courage to leave out Rashford and Garnacho
Yes.
against City, not even in the
Yeah.
bench, out of the squad. I like
Mm-hmm.
the fact that the manager is giving you the message that if you don't train well, you don't play, irrespective of who you are and how big a name you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
Agreed. Yes. Since, because that was going to be my next question. You did mention obviously Rashford and Garnacho being dropped completely. Now, I don't know. Have you seen some of the latest stuff happening with Rashford? It looks to be that he probably will be leaving Man United, either on a loan, or most likely it looks to be that his days are numbered essentially at Man United. So what do you think about that? Do you think that it might be the best decision for both parties to part ways?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes I feel uh, like especially with academy products,
Mm,
like you have to sometimes get out of your club and learn your trade somewhere else as well. And Rashford's been very like say 5 6 years ago he reminded me of Ahmad Diallo now, which is that
Mm,
he would give his heart for the club. He played for the club.
yes.
He was, one of your own. But like, after some time, you get a little cynical when you see managers changing and the management not changing. You think, why should I do anything either? And you also become like that seeps into your mentality. So a change in scenery, I think, will be very good for him, because I do think there's a player there.
Agreed. And like you said, it's like it almost looks like along the way. Okay, so basically, it's been about over 8 years ago since he broke into the Man United squad from the academy, with so many forwards being injured. Since then, he hasn't looked back, made a name for himself, used his platform wonderfully, helping lots of unfortunate families around the UK. So I will never take that away from him. I respect that. If we're talking about the footballing sense, there's been a lot of good moments. There's also been a lot of lows. And of course, with the inconsistencies with it being Man United, the past 10 years, it hasn't been the best environment to be developed. And now that he's in his late 20s, the ship might have sailed at this point. But I do agree with you. I still do believe that there is a player there. I just think that his time at Man United is done, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I
But
agree.
that doesn't mean that he shouldn't and won't do well at another club. So my question for you, Ash, would be: it looks to be he's going right. Where do you think he could go?
Well, I mean, obviously the media is trying to play it up with Spurs, because they asked Ange as well in the press conference whether
Did
he would
they?
want Rashford. And
Oh,
obviously he's not going to say yes or no either way. But so there's been a lot of links there. I mean, I would think that, since he's a Premier League tested player, most of the Premier League teams would be interested. At least if he's just looking for a short-term loan till summer, I think most Premier League teams might be interested. Although I don't think he'll come to Spurs, because he's on a very high salary, and we have a
yeah.
$200,000 wage cap. So
Hmm.
pound, sorry. So I don't think he'll come here. But wherever he goes, I think he'll do well. I think maybe it might be an opportunity for him to leave England. Maybe learn
Yes.
something from going overseas. Also
Agree.
because he's a United player through and through, so he wouldn't want to compete in it with a direct rival.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That would hurt me. That I would feel some type of way if he ends up going to a direct rival in the Premier League. That would hurt me. Even though I do think it's best for him to leave, I just feel like, okay, if you're gonna leave, then surely you should be leaving to get away from England, get away from the UK, go to maybe, I mean, potentially Spain, but like I know that there are maybe some interest from Barcelona. The problem is that they're in a mess with the whole financial situation over there. So I wouldn't bank on it, with reports saying that Danny Olmo might be leaving. And I'm like, he just came. So that's a little bit of a madness there. Maybe you could go to Serie A if Kvaratskhelia leaves. It could open a door there, but then potentially PSG, Kolomwani is setting to lead himself. So there are options out there, but the problem is that who are willing to go for it? As you mentioned, the wages. Is he willing to reduce the wages? If not, then options will be a little bit more limited. But if he is, then hey, then you have a lot of other teams being able, maybe a loan potentially could be the smartest thing. A loan with an obligation to buy, for instance. I don't know,
Yeah, I think loan would be
something.
best.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, let's move on from that. So for in regards to the game tomorrow, what are the latest news in terms of players available, not available for your team?
So Ange mentioned that Udogie is it's a minor thing, but he may not be completely fit for this game. So we'd most likely see another stint by Jet Spence, this time not playing on the right but on the left. Uh,
Mm,
Apart from that, I mean, we have serious fitness issues, but Bissouma is coming back, so
Yeah.
we might see him in this game. Um, yeah, Dominic Solanke looked a little bit out of it by the end of the last game, so I'm
Mm.
wondering if he'll do a rotation there, but I wouldn't want to see Lancashire come on for such a big game. So let's see how he organizes it. Maybe he'll put Sunny up front, but I'm not a big fan of that. But there will be a lot of rotation involved, especially because we're playing Liverpool after that, and we'll need a full strength
That
squad for that as well.
is oh, that is such a good point. Yeah, with the fact that you also do have a Liverpool. Yeah, when you be having like okay, an important cup game, but then you also have an important league game, it's like damn, with such a short space in days between them, then you know it's tough because you have to kind of rotate. You might need to go a bit more um, on the priority side with one of them. So I hear it for
My
sure.
priority is the cup. Like as a Spurs fan,
Oh
we're not
yeah,
winning
yeah,
the league or anything, right? I'd like to see a cup run.
and I hear that. I mean, I want to win another trophy, so I still, especially like, okay, I don't want to throw away this game. I want to go as far as we can. If we go out, okay, we go out, but at least give me something,
Yeah.
you know. But I do want to properly give you guys a run for your money, basically. But we have to wait. I mean, we also have our share of absences with Mason Mount himself got subbed off after 12 minutes in the Manchester derby. What do you think about Mason Mount? Will he ever, ever work out the Man United? Because I don't think
No.
so. Thank you.
It's a
Right?
simple
No,
answer.
that's real. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think so too. I think, yeah, I mean, availability is the best ability, and he's
Yeah.
not available. So that's that. Also, Mazraoui could be in doubt, potentially. Might have gotten a little
Really?
bit of a knock after the Manchester derby, but then again, I do think he did travel though to London, so we'll see. We also have, Luke Shaw still out. Rashford looks to be that he won't be available for this game either. Yeah, I think he's
I, but like he's not injured or anything, right? He can be in the squad this game.
he can, yeah, because Garnacho is I believe it traveled with the squad, but Rashford wasn't seen.
Oh, Rashford hasn't traveled at all. Oh, wow.
Nope. So I think, and especially after with the whole interview stuff, I believe that the club was quite. They didn't know about this whole interview. They didn't. They saw the quotes like right as when we saw them.
Yeah.
They didn't know, so I don't think that kind of helped out at all. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think we'll see him. To be fair, other than that, we should be having a lot of the other ones back. To be fair. How do you think, and no, what, let me rephrase that. How, first, how do you want Ange to set up the team for tomorrow?
Um, so obviously we'll have Foster in goal. Poro, we don't have any choices at centre back. It has to be Dragusin Gray,
Mm,
and then probably Jet Spence on the other side. And then
ooh,
most likely if Bissouma is back, it'll probably be Sar and Bissouma in the midfield with Madders, and then I think it'll be Sunny, Solanke, and Johnson. If he wants to rest Sunny, I can see Johnson playing on the other side and Kulu coming in on the right. I would rest Kulu
mm,
though, like I wouldn't start him because we need him against Liverpool.
no, agreed. Yeah. Ooh, when you talked about that back line, oof, that I can relate because I've been there. I've been there many times that season with multiple different, you know, backline versions. Like I get it. Ooh,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll
You're
see.
still changing your black line as well, right? I see every time I see United, they have different three people at the back. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with us, we do have multiple people available, like Maguire's available, Martinez, De Ligt, Lenny Yoro is like slowly getting into that match fitness after being injured, but he didn't start against Man City. So what I'm thinking is maybe we'll start a Euro, probably a De Ligt, and then Lisandro Martinez, because often he'd be having like maybe the same two center backs, and then maybe switch one of them, like in that back three, rotate a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. When it comes to the wing backs, I think probably Malacia will start alongside Dallo on the other side, especially now that Mazraoui might potentially maybe be out. And I'm also thinking maybe he should be rested. If he's in doubt, then I don't want to force it. But then again, no, you know what? I don't want to force it if he's not fit. So we'll see. In the pivot, maybe Maino, Casemiro, potentially. Wouldn't mind Ugarte, but if he can be rested, but then again, I want to go for the game though. So I'm like, so too many changes might be a bad thing if we change it up too much. So maybe a Maino and Ugarte. When it comes to the inside tens, we have Ahmad and Bruno. And then as the striker, Hojlund unfortunately didn't do that much when he did play in the matches of Derby compared to in the Europa League game last week. So I'm thinking maybe start Zirkzee and then you can bring Hojlund from the bench.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I don't know. The thing is, especially when you have a new coach, we don't know.
Yeah.
He might. I didn't think he was gonna not have Rashford and Garnacho in the squad. So this guy could do anything.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
sometimes the exciting part.
I've seen a little bit of talk about how he always rotates his team anyway. Like, obviously, I don't watch like football in Portugal, but like I've heard that he changes his team up a lot.
He does. Yeah. So I won't be shocked if he do tends to. He's just been there a few weeks, so like you gotta figure it out. I hear it, and I different from Tenak. Tenak always kept playing the players week in, week out, and then complained when it was injuries. Like you didn't have to start playing him right as he came back from injury. You can slowly ease him in, you know? You don't need to force it. So I do think we're trying to kind of make that be a bit more different now under Amorim, and I am liking it so far. Yes. Some questions here before we then wrap up with the score prediction at the end. Let's see here. I think this one was interesting. Ash, what are your expectations from Spurs this season?
I
From
just want to
last.
win a trophy, like League Cup, FA Cup. Maybe Europa might be asking for too much, but I just want to win a trophy. I don't care if we're 10th and we have a trophy. I just want to win something.
I want to see. Son needs a trophy, you know. Son, Heung-Min Son. I want to see this, the armpits, you know.
Yeah.
You want to see, right? Unfortunately, not if it goes against you winning the Carabao Cup ahead of my team. So respectfully, we cannot have
Yeah.
that happening. But if anyhow, let you know, if you do go all the way, then I will be saying Spurs, go ahead, do your thing. Because I do kind of want to see Spurs. I mean, at some point it'll be like, yeah, I win a trophy at some point, right? No disrespect, but like some of the players with, especially with the son that's been at Spurs for so long, he deserves to get a trophy.
Yeah.
You deserve to get a trophy. The club, right? You can
Yeah, I
laugh at
mean, he's
Arsenal.
better. Sonny's a little better than Harry Kane in the sense that he's won with South Korea. He's won the Asian Cup, but it's still not the same.
True.
It's not
Oh God,
Spurs.
yes, some. Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Good point. But I'm also thinking in regards to the fact that he's been at
Yeah,
Spurs for
such
so
a
long,
servant and
captain,
best
right?
assister. ever.
Exactly. Like he could have. Let's be honest. He's been amazing. He could have left a long time ago, but he's been there. No, I'm gonna stay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we. Yeah, that's an unnecessary comment there. Big up though. Um, any more? Yes, Son did win a trophy, the Asian Cup, and the gold medal in the Asian Games. My apologies, guys. Yes, he did, and big up to him for that. I'm so far thinking more so in regards to Spurs, but big up
Yeah.
though. 100%. This question from Bart. How has Archie Gray been doing? I was keen to follow him after his breakthrough season, at least last season. Would have loved to have seen him at United, following the likes of Rio, Cantona, and Smith.
I think we are sitting on a gold mine. Like this kid is only going to get better. He is so
Mm-hmm.
versatile. He's a midfielder, but he can play anywhere in the back line. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just I I have only praise for him. Obviously, he's playing out of position, so he'll make mistakes, and Spurs fans are really really quick to be harsh. But I just think that this kid, like 5 years down the line, I'm willing to put money on the fact that this kid is going to be class.
There is something about the guy. The guy has he got potential. I see it. So it's like what you said. I think you said it very well. You're sitting on a gold mine. Use it. You know, 100%. Ooh, and this one from earlier, I think. What do you Ash make of Lucas Bergvall's progress? He was hyped up in Sweden for a few years now. Any thoughts about that?
He's when he first came, obviously he moved to a new country, and like it's a little hard when you first come. So and he was
Yes.
getting bullied in the Europa League games, some of them. So
Mm-hmm.
I was in two minds about him, but
Mm-hmm.
recently he's really sort of like the last two or three games. He's really come into his own. He started commanding that midfield a little bit better, especially again in the Southampton game. He played exceptionally. I think he was perhaps like perhaps one of the better players in the side, and we won 5-0, so that's hard to say. So I do think that he has all the ingredients there. I would like to see a little bit more for him and from him, and he gets dominated physically sometimes off the ball, so I'd like to see him curb that a little bit.
Yeah, I think with like you said, with different country, being so young, sometimes certain players need a bit more time to adapt.
Yeah,
But I do think that there is also a player there with him as well,
definitely,
but he needs a little bit
definitely
more time.
talent.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Very
Spurs, the
talented.
kindergarten at Spurs is full of talent. Like,
Yeah.
two of them are still in school, but they're on our bench. So it's lovely to see the number of teenagers we have, or like
Yeah.
just below 20 year old players that are just phenomenal. So I'm
Yeah,
just really excited for this new crop to grow and learn.
exactly. Oh, Bart, big up people with some great questions. This one before we wrap up. Do you Ash see Ange surviving at the end of the season?
I think personally it depends on if he stay in the top 10. The minute
Mm,
we drop too far away from the top 6, Levy tends to sack managers. So
yeah.
in the league, if we continue to stay there and abouts, we're fine. But the minute
Hmm.
it's like 10 points, 6 points, whatever, then he's in trouble.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I saw like one of the vid where he was kind of going up to one of the fans that were kind of giving him some stick. And I was like, ooh, yeah, Ange. I think maybe I'm not gonna say the facade, but he looked a little bit rattled. Like usually he seems like such a chill guy, and but I was like, ooh, okay, yeah. And I think also with some comments about Timo Werner, I think as well, which I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. I mean,
nice.
Timo Werner, I'm not a big fan of. Honestly,
Oh, me neither.
I can't. I wish he would just leave our club and take his giant salary with him.
Exactly. Leave. I still think that whoever sanctioned getting that guy, I will never understand. Never understand. But hey, that's for another day. I want to hear your score prediction. What do you think
Um,
for the game
you know,
tomorrow?
Spurs only have two speeds. Either it's 3-0, 4-0, or it's losing by one goal. So, but I'm gonna go 3-0 simply because not because I don't because the other option is we lose by one goal. So there's no
Look,
in between.
you got to
You-
back your team. I hear it. I hear it. Total says we will beat you. I mean, we will see. So you're saying 3-0. Okay, so who do you think will score those goals, though?
so it'll generally our pattern is one midfielder and two wingers. So I'm just going to go Maddison and one goal for Sunny and one goal for Johnson, maybe.
That could happen. By the way, I just checked. Crystal Palace is 1-0 against Arsenal.
Oh, yay! That made my day.
That made my day. Mateta. Okay, I will definitely check that out later. Woo! I just wanted to quickly see how that game was going. But okay, my score prediction will be I think we will win. I'm going to say 2-1 Man United. 2-1. But
Yeah,
then
that's
again,
the
it
required
could,
one goal difference.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not going to be, oh, 3-4. I don't think it'll be that. But then again, it could also be like a block. You never know. It could be a blockbuster, like, let's say, 3-2 for one of us. That could happen as well. But I'm going to back my team. I'm going to say 2-1. Keep it safe. 2-1. Man United. Get the job done. Let's move on. Go to the semifinal. Let's go.
Yeah. Honestly, I
We have
think
to wait
it's
and see.
more likely that United would win actually, because if you think about it, there's more pressure on us. There's no pressure on you, you know. If you get out of the cup, it will be sad, but we move on. But with Ange, there's pressure on his job. So I think,
Oh, yeah.
uh,
I also, he didn't make it. He kind of did a Ten Hag. You know, when Ten Hag, when he first came into the league, to Man United, when he said eras come to an end, it was all fun and games then, right? Even though, to be fair, though, he almost seemed like he kind of was right with the downfall of Man City now. So technically, it was right. But it was just like, okay, with us finishing how we did last season and at the beginning of this season, it's been a bit of a madness. So, what I'm trying to say is, I think with Am saying I always win a trophy in my second season, now there's
yeah,
definitely pressure. Because if you don't deliver, it's a bit peak. I think he
yeah.
probably should have said that
Yeah, I
because you
mean,
add
to
more
be
pressure.
fair, he was just fact checking the reporter. Like the reporter asked him, "Do you generally
Yeah,
win in your second season?" He said, "No, I always win in my second season," which is a fact. It's just that it came across as arrogant.
yeah. When you add a bit more context, yes, I hear it. It's just the only thing is if he doesn't, oh,
Yeah,
then it's not a fact anymore, right? Because until
yeah,
now, it's been a fact. But if it doesn't, then it'll be a bit peak. But you never know. You still are in the Carabao Cup, Europa League and stuff. You never know. You never know.
yeah.
So yeah, big up. Tolan says here, Ash, thank you for coming as always. Appreciate you. We will subscribe to your channel. Yes, and I
Thank
agree
you.
with this. Big up Toluma. That's a great comment, people. It's been a lovely stream. Thank you, Ash, for coming on for yet another stream. I had fun.
Yeah, same here. Always a pleasure.
Indeed, indeed. Ash, let us know, what do you have coming up next on your channel? Anything else you do? Let us know.
So the women are on leave until January, And so we're just gonna do a season so far episode next Monday. So tune in for that.
There you have it. Make sure people subscribe to Ash channel. It is linked in the title of this stream, but also in the description box. So show the channel some love. I've been there when we did the preview for the obviously Chelsea women, Man United women. We did, lose the game at the end, but it was a good preview. I had a lot of fun. So yeah, make sure you do check her channel out for sure. I'll be back tomorrow straight after the Spurs Man United game to do a reaction. Hopefully, please United, I want to win. I want to win. Please, let's help me out. So we have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, hope that you guys had fun. Make sure you like this video here on your way out. Subscribe as well to the channel. We are on the road to 5,000K. Let's try to make that happen before this year ends. We have about less than 2 weeks, so I think we can do it. But I need your help. Either way, have a great time, and we are back tomorrow. Bye bye. Peace.